the accounting practice become more of the information recordings, and later on it's evolved into help the businesses and help the shareholders or stakeholders to make some decisions. Now, as we enter into the information age, we need to know what is meant for the future of accounting, particularly when everyone is talking about the AI. Some of you guys or some of us even worry that eventually AI will replace us as accounting professions. So I want to give everyone a bit of confidence that instead of being replaced by AI in the future, our role become more and more significant on helping guiding the AI to do things for us and for businesses. So the lecture overview will be help us understand how the generative AI could transform the accounting work. And we also will have a bit of comparison between the traditional accounting practice versus the futuristic accounting practice that will be, some of which has already been in practice, some of them are in theory or in experiments, but it's good for us to know what has been practicing in the profession. And also, the most exciting part is, as amateur non-technical person, can we do something with AI? Can we do something to do some financial analytics that by using the power of AI? And lastly, I want to give everyone an opportunity to reflect what will be our future career and what kind of skills we need to build up to be ready for the future. Right. If I'm speaking too fast, please raise your hands. I can slow down a bit, or if you need me to repeat or explain some of the things, feel free. I can see all your names, and if you're raising hands, I can see clearly. So let's begin with a very general questions. What is the generative AI, or what is Gen AI? Well, I have to say, majority of you guys, or even including me, are active users of the AI model these days. No, it's like there's no turning back. Once you start with the ChatGPT, you start to rely on the GPT. But to most of us, the way we use AI or so-called AI model are quite on the surface. More likely, we use AI to generate the content, right? If you are exploring the AI model a little bit more, you may tend to generate a new content. Sometimes you will ask AI to do some coding for you. If you are the subscriber of the AI model, such as if the paid version of the GPT or other AI models, you might be able to generate images. Sometimes you can even create videos, right? So these are the current stages of AI application to most of us. But in the professional field, AI can do much more things, and I will show you later on in the demo. But put it simply, the generative AI is a system that can create a lot of content or multimedia contents, text, code, image, and its other insights. For accounting, we can break down the accounting practice, and we can codify each steps of the practice and let our AI model to do a lot of things. So instead of simply having a conversation with AI model, we can instead ask AI to execute the tasks, to make some decisions, and to make investment for us. And I will show you the real life investment activities using AI. But having a look at here, we can do a lot of automations. So what is meant by automations is by repeating, by using the algorithm to do the repetitive task, it becomes automated tasks, okay? And it can also provide intelligent data analysis. What do we mean by intelligence, right? It should provide some insights and not just give us a summary of the data. It also gives us some of the predictions, some of the trends analysis, some of the modelings about the data. And this can be very powerful. For those of you who aim to do some research, AI can be a powerful tool to help you to draft a research proposals, and even can help you to design the research models. There are many more applications that accounting can be involved with AI, such as document processing. If you have ever worked in the accounting practice, you know the traditional way of accounting practice is by sorting out the documents. Most of the documents are paper documents. You need to collecting them, type in the information, processing, save them, and later on you need to know how to store and deal with them. But a lot of things can be now automated with AI. And another thing some you may have heard is called natural language processing. Over here, we can take advantage of the AI to do some natural language explanations. It is as if you ask someone to explain the financial report to you or explain the transaction to you in a simple language. And this is the power of AI. So I would put this way, next time when you are using your AI model, such as GPT, don't simply treat it as a chat box or as a Google search toolbox. Instead, treat the AI model or AI agent as someone, your personal assistant. Why I need to emphasize this? Because the moment you understand the role of AI in the future is to help us to do things, then you will know how to send instructions and how to communicate with your AI agent or AI model. Now, there's a term called the prompt engineering. That will be a very, very promising future. So put this way, your AI model is a supervised, super knowledgeable assistant. And this assistant is sitting in front of a computer over the internet and waiting for your instructions. Now, the trick is, if you don't know how to send the instructions, if you don't know how to ask questions, then you will not able to get your ideal results. Okay. So having this in your mind at this stage, and later on, I will demonstrate to you how to communicate AI in a more efficient and more productive way. So the AI is like a super smart assistant that will never sleep. You can ask your AI to do some heavy automations 24/7, and it will never complain. Okay. Now, the following question, since we know the potential power of AI, why it is relevant in accounting, why it does matter. Now let's take a look at the traditional challenges we may have in accounting. We do a lot of manual data entries, and this manual work often creates a lot of errors, right? Even when we're doing our writing, we may have some typos, and these cannot be solved due to the inherent issues of our human, because we tend to make mistakes if we do repetitively. It's also quite time-consuming. Now, if you have involved any accounting or auditing work, you know towards the end of the year or towards the end of the reporting period, everyone's busy. Why? Because people are busy sorting out the documents, people are busy to reconciliate the accounts. And all of these takes time, and all of these are repetitive. And the traditional way of accounting are mostly doing the information recording, but it lacks some of the analytical elements. And that's why we study accounting programs. We want to know how to run the ratio analysis, how to interpret financial statements. So all those things are there, but we cannot sort it out because of inherent limitations. And that leads to the decision making as more reactive rather than proactive. How to put it this way? Now, you only try to read the annual report if you need to, or if you are told to do so. You only make decisions, or you only make a judgment if you sense or if you are told to make such judgments. What's the potential issue? Well, we're now facing multiple forms of informations, and now we're facing international competitions. If you become more reactive, then the moment you start to think, the moment you start to make judgment decisions, it can be too late. Now, the same way as if you're doing some stock trading, you need to be proactive. You need to search the hidden informations, and you need to make some judgment and decisions before everyone else realizes it. But all those things are restricted or limited in the traditional way of accounting, because we do the manual work, because we rely on the time-consuming tasks, and because the paper-based format, it is just not that much powerful. What AI can provide us as a solution? Now, I created this AI image. You can do this on GPT, but I use a different AI model. And this also gives us a short video. Let's take a look there. Okay, in this 5-second short video, it simply demonstrates the potential transitions we may have by using AI when you work in accounting. Now, as you can see, on the left-hand side, these are these traditional way of accounting, sitting on a desk, working with a computer, crunching the numbers. But over time, if we can use AI as our agent or AI as an assistant, we can let AI to do some background work for us, such as generating the graphics, pointing out where are the areas needs to pay attention, or notify us if there's any significant issues or abnormality issues. So that comes with automated data processing, instant report generations, and provide more proactive approach to analyze the information or the data, and can even make some predictions or anticipate what's going to happen in the coming future. So a lot of budgeting, preparations, and those tasks can be done with the AI now. After this, you may still wondering now, these are all sounds good. These are all in theory. These all being talked all over the places, but I can't feel, I can't touch, and I still feel that AI is very remote to us. It's just someone, technical guys create those things. But you know what? In the recent, I think since last month, there is a real life applications using AI model to make investment. Now here is the last round of the competition, which has just been finalized. In these competitions, this platform assigned each AI model $10,000 to make its own investment on the cryptocurrencies. So without any human interference, just simply give them each account's certain fixed number and let them to make their own buy and sell decisions. And over the period of 2 weeks, you can see the performance of each AI model. Now, where is our favorite GPT performance? Start from initial $10,000, ended up losing $6,000 2 weeks later. Well, how can we tell if it's good model or bad model? Well, we can compare with other models. So these two are Chinese AI model. One is called QWen, the other one is DeepSeek, and they all end up slightly above or slightly making profit. But all other mainstream AI agent or models are very poor performing in making the real life investment. Now, if you still don't believe it, let me show you. Oh, because I have just realized they are doing another round of competitions here. So they started today, and this time they have introduced a little more AI models, and they're doing the real-time investment. How can we tell this? If you look at the live board, you can see how each of AI model is performing. what it is, their positions, and what actions have been taken. Let's use some GPT 5.1 since it's relatively new. So at this stage, at this moment, it makes $262 net profit, and its positions have been long, means they're buying the Amazon, aiming to making profit, aiming to increase the share price. They're shorting Google, and so forth. So they're buying the main index stock, and these are their performance. And you can see other AI models are also doing the same thing. Their strategies are unsupervised, means they purely decided by themselves, and the performance may vary. It's come with the transaction fees. It comes with different buy and sells. So this is how real the AI is to us. Now, if you think in the future we can just make investment decisions without too much information processing, think twice, because there are thousands, if not millions, of AI agents is competing with us in the stock market. And believe me, a lot of them are designed to make such investment activities. For example, DeepSeek was the byproduct of the hedge funds. So it is a very powerful tools and very powerful AI agent. Okay, let me just put back here. Now, back to the accounting. After we see all these real-life AI applications, how it involves in the investment or stock market, let's go back to the accounting part. So where we can think about the AI transformations in accounting, well, start with a simple one, automations. We can have automated bookkeeping. Well, how to illustrate? You can use AI to categorize the transactions. Think about traditional way. We need to decide the nature of the accounts, if it is asset, liability, equity, and within asset category, we need to know if it is account receivable or other type of accounts. Now, if you are accounting graduates with a few years of training and practice, you may easily take these tasks. But what if someone who just started a business and don't have the luxury to hire accountant? Well, they can use an AI model to do all these bookkeepings. Now, a lot of softwares now have these functions, and we also have the smart reconciliation possibilities. Now, if you recall your accounting courses, we have a bank reconciliation when the businesses have the time lags between the money sending and receiving from the banks. This can also be done with AI to do some automations. We can use AI to generate the financial reports, and depends on the structure of the reports. And we can, for auditing, it can be used to detect any abnormalities. If you learn auditing course, you know the task of auditor is to detect if there's any errors or any material misstatements in the financial statements, right? It is hard without years of training as an auditor, but with the power of AI, we can easily detect, or we can relatively easily detect any unusual or abnormal things. How about tax? Now, tax avoidance, tax evasions. So people who try to avoid paying tax, they may find there are multiple ways to dodge tax payments. So it is a very big issue for many countries or many governments. With the help of AI, these can be done, or these can be limited in a more healthy way. And for businesses, it can be also helpful for them to prepare their tax returns or tax filers. So overall, the tax compliance can be benefit from using AI. Lastly, about the budget forecastings. And if you run a small business, you really want to know what is your ordering volumes for the next week or next month. Now, if you rely on your experience, it may not that much precise, but if you can use an AI model, it can provide a powerful predictions for your next week's, next month's, and next quarter's sales performance, and you can make a decisions accordingly about your purchase. So these are the potential for AI in accounting. Now, we always need to remind ourselves that the differences between the traditional way of counting and the new way of futuristic way of counting start with the manual to the automations, start with the reactive to the more proactive or predictive, start from the basic ratio analysis to a more pattern recognitions. Now, what is pattern recognitions? It's by looking at the trends, the graphics, the charts, the colors, the shape. These are all powerful informations. But if you ask someone to read a number, to read the ratios, the numerical figures, it can be hard for some people. But if you ask people to read the charts, the pie charts, the histograms, or and images, it almost as easy as a daily conversation. So it will be very easy for people to obtain the same information, to make the same judgment with the power of AI. And there are some other things such as static work papers versus more dynamic AI generated insights. In a traditionally, you have to prepare your final financial reports and your final management report. Once it has been done, you cannot easily change it. But with the power of AI, you can always up to date in real time. So if there's new information being feeded in, you can use AI model to update and to generate the most recent and latest information. And not to mention about human error versus more accuracy with the algorithms using machine learning. And another big benefit is about time savings or efficiencies. So time consuming versus real-time processing. Okay. Now, the next few slides would just simply describe the basic application we can do with AI. Start with the data cleaning. Are you familiar with the term data cleaning or data manipulations? Now, data could be a number, could be numerical data. It can also be non-numerical. We call it stream data or characteristic data. Now, in accounting, it is combinations. We have the account name, we have the dollar values, we have a structural templates. All those data, if you cannot put that into the structure, it is hard for us or for any computer to process properly. Now with AI, it can easily capture different structures of data. It can make different shapes and different style. So the AI can help automated validation checks. Means if this invoice is not being authorized, not being signed, it can be automatically checked by the AI, such as there's a missing part or the date is incorrect. There could be some error detections. If, for example, if signing the purchase order should come with a limit, so the manager only has $1,000 power of authority to sign the purchase order, but the manager signed up $5,000, way above his power of authorities, then this can be detected with AI. Some other things such as pattern-based standardizations to make it more standardized ratios, and can also dealing with some missing values. So this is example. Sometimes we might misread the date, or the machine cannot read the date, but with the help of AI, it can be converted between the numerical or the date versions versus the more mixture between number and the words. Some others is auto or ratio analysis. I will show you shortly. And now I will quickly. Okay, sorry. Let me just quickly show you the R code that I prepared for today. So if you have the shared documents, you can also play this around. So everything I have mentioned in the PowerPoint also included here. So if you're the first time using the R programs, it is very easy to set up. I also create a user instructions. You need installed R, and then you need download and installed R Studio. So once you finish this, all you need to do is to click. So unzip the package file and click this, double click, okay? And over here, it start with the initial package loadings. If you haven't installed any package, this line of code can help you to do this. Or if you don't want to bother this, you can do over here. Okay, you can just install the package type, for example, tidy eyes, and you can install the package. But I will just quickly load it for you. So this line of code simply do the rendering check and then install all the necessary packages for you before running things. The first part is to do the data cleaning. Okay. Again, just quick check. Is everyone can everyone see the share screen?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Cool. Now, once you click the file, I have prepared some of sample data here, but it is already in the folder. So the first few line of code is to create some folders if this not existed, and then it verified the data directory. I just quickly run this and before we start running the code. Now, this line of code is to create a function. Now, function means we want to write a rule to tell our program that this rule's name is called read data file, and how should we execute such rules? And these within this is called functions. Okay, so it simply means whenever I call these functions, it should open the data file based on where I designated the folder. Okay, so within this folder, I have different type of informations. Well, you can instead import it in this way, but to save your time, I can just load it everything here. So you can just click run. Now, what you can see here is these data has been loaded here. If you click this, it gives you a typical data frame, or you can say similar as Excel, right? This is balance sheets, and the first column is company, and then we have other variables. And then this is cash flow statements, and then this is foreign exchange rates, and this is income statements. So these are multiple financial statements. But what makes the data frame different from the Excel is it contains much more information, such as if I want to see the balance sheet, for example, I want to see what is the structure of this balance sheet. Okay, and it gives us this information that this company name is a character, the asset is the number, liability is the number, and this gives us a snapshot of what it's like. And for example, if I want to see how many it exists, so balance sheet, I want to see, I want to select inventory, so I can quickly looking at the the inventory column here. Now you may say, well, we can easily do this in Excel. Why do we bother doing this way? Now, imagine if you have not hundreds of records, you have thousands or millions of records. You cannot open these data file in Excel because your computer is going to crash. But you can easily check and manipulate the information from here. So these are the basic data frame. And the next important thing is to merge this financial data into a comprehensive data set. So this is a typical practice in accounting when we want to merge these three financial statements into the worksheets, right? How can we do this? Now we need to look at the common values of these data. Each of these financial statements has two common columns. They are company columns and year columns. So what I will do here is to merge everything based on or matching with the company and the year, and I create a new data frame called financial data. So I select this and run here, and you can see immediately it creates a new data frame called financial data. So what this looks like, it is combination, is the merging data file of these three financial statements. So so instantly it becomes very, very comprehensive financial information for us. Now, we notice in real life, different companies may working in different regions. Some of them are using different currencies. So we are adding the currency exchange functions, and then we can also run this. Let's say monetary. You can see here we identify which are the columns or which are the variables they are relates to the money. So we can use and apply the currency exchange. So this line of code is to convert the informations. So after conversions, things has changed. Now I'll quickly go through the remaining slides. The remaining of the codes. So these are the for duplication check. So if you want to see if there's any missing count, you can see here. So let me do again. Check missing count. You can see for the cash and equivalent, there's one missing. For inventory, there are two missing. For extraordinary items, there's one missing. Now, of course, you can go back here and check this is missing here. There are two missing, and the other one has one missing. Okay. Now, once again, this is a very simple example. We only have 10 observations. If you have thousands of the observations, it will be very difficult to quickly navigate or quickly identify which items has been missed. But with the power of these algorithms using R, you can very quickly spot or identify the missing ones. Right, and going back to the previous slides, for the ratio analysis, we can manually create different ratios, such as quick ratios, gross profit ratios, return on asset, return on equity, and everything can be done with simple line of code, and you can read easily. So the ROA is the net income divided by asset, and we can create this. So look at this. Initially, before I run any of these code, it only has 10 observations, okay, and 27 variables, 27 columns. But if I edit this new calculation, and you can see what has been changed. Now I have 40 variables, 40 columns, because I have created additional 13 of new variables. Believe it or not, you can also click here and you can see the new ratio has been created. For example, I have created ROA, ROE, and this calculation is based on the pre-programmed divisions. Once again, you may argue, I can do this easily on Excel, right? You open Excel, you use the different columns or different rows to run the formula or equations. But Excel can be powerful if the volume of data is small, but it will be unworkable if you have thousands or millions of data. And if there's any missing values, I will just simply put a 0. So look at here, we have non-available means missing value. Now for this line of code, I automatically make them as a 0. So it becomes 0. So again, it saves us time. We just need to write one line of code and you can create, or it can automate a lot of tasks for us. I'll just quickly go through all the rest of these ratio analysis. It will be similar. It was to mention here is, despite that we create new ratios, sometimes we want to know how the company is comparing with the industry average. And we know, if we know the industry figures, for example, the current ratio, if the benchmark is 1.8, quick ratio benchmark is this, we can easily assign this, and we can let our algorithm to compare. So this is the industry benchmark, right? The current ratio of this. And we set up rules saying, compare with the company if the company's figure, okay, is more than 10%, means times 1.1, more than 10% of the industry average. So if the value is more than 10% of average, then we call this as above average. If the value is less than 10%, means it is at 0.9% point of the industry average, we call it a below average. So what does it mean? Let me just quickly show you. Over here, you can see the performance assessment very quickly showed us for each company each year, which ratio has been matching with the industry average. So this ratio is below average, this ratio is above average. Now, in real life, you can do this manually, but if you are familiar with the codings, it's just a matter of changing the line of code. So for example, if you want to put this 20% above the average is called above average, or 20%, let's say 30% below is called below average, then this will change the things as well. So you can see a lot of things change. So this one's supposed to be below average, but we end up as around the average. So this is how the power of algorithms or codings can help us fasten a lot of accounting analytics. Questions so far? No? Okay. Now, for the benefit of us, I will just I'll just run through the entire code, and I'll show you what's the ending result. So once you finish this, in the output, you will have a multiple graphics. This is the plots for comparing two companies' revenue growth. This is for comparing the ROE between these two companies. And this is the sentiment analysis, which is more based on the text analytics. And this is called the topic analysis to show what are the common topics appearing in a different content. And this is called the word cloud. Okay. Now, one may ask, so what is the practical implications? So how can we use this, in a daily, day-to-day accounting? As I said, or as indicated before, a lot of these manual and repetitive works can be replaced by AI or by any softwares. So those roles may not be that much valuable for accountant anymore in the future. What is more available for us is to generate a highly abstract and summarized content and to make informed judgment and decisions. Now, for example, if this is it is the summary on the management commentary topics. Okay, let me just get you back from here. It is based on these data frame. Okay. So based on this. So for these two companies, they have different management commentary. They are pure text. Now, in real life, without the power of AI, we need to read them manually, and we need to decide what are the key topics and what are the more relevant information to us for this business. And if you want to compare with two companies, notice that they may have different shapes or different patterns of the language or the structures, which makes it impossible to to process if you have thousands or let's say hundreds of companies to compare. But if you use the the texture analysis, it will give you some quick snapshot, one thing we call the topic analysis. Now you can see here for this company called Global Retail, the most common topic being mentioned are around the operational efficiencies. But for this tech company, the most common topic that's been mentioned is around innovation, technology, risk, and sustainability. And these are all make sense, right? And then you need to ask, how can we determine this topic and what is percentages means? Now, this is based on the latent derivative LDA topic analysis. It's a mathematical model. So it is a probability to decide what are the most relevant topics that be grouped together. So if you understand this model, all you need to do is to write a line of code, maybe 20 lines of codes, and decide, which are the common topics, how many topics you want to generate it, and this can be a powerful report presented to your manager and to demonstrate what are the most important issues being discussed by this company. Now, if you have 30 companies or 300 companies, you still can do the same analysis and it give you the same output structure. Okay, back to the, let me just change the share screen. Sorry, just share this and, okay. Sorry, let me just close this and share screen. So what we have demonstrated so far is to use AI to do some data cleaning and to use AI or algorithms to do some ratio analysis. And if you are more into this text analysis, you can do a more dedicated, such as topic modeling or visualizations. And this is what I just mentioned about text analysis. Using different models or packages, you can understand the sentiment of the text, such as being positive or being negative. You can understand what are the common topics being discussed in the minutes or in the reports, and what are the key risk factors in this disclosure. So all can be done with the power of algorithms and AI. Right. I want to take a pause here and have a bit of discussion if you have any questions so far. And then next I will show you how to use Python to do use the what's called AI model to do more creative things. Do you have any questions so far?
Okay, please everyone, please feel free to raise your hand or type the question in the text box. Okay, so we have one person here. Diana, please. You can ask directly to Dr. Yuqian.
Okay, thank you so much for Dr. Yuqian, because this is so insightful knowledge for me, especially because this is the new ways of accounting. Okay, the first time I saw interest in RStudio to how RStudio used for accounting, but for the example that you try to demonstrate to us, when using RStudio, is it limited for sample data, or we can also use real data and complete financial database, maybe around 1 year, or maybe we can compare for several years, and are being used to analyze accounting data and generate recommendation based on the analysis.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Very good question. So let me just rephrase Diana's questions. So I think the question is whether we can use RStudio to process the accounting information or accounting data if it's multiple years or if they are on a potential different structures, and what are the potential applications. Now, to answer this, first of all, we need to understand what's the capability of these R language or R programs is um, to processing the unstructured data, to clean up the data, and then to run the models for analysis. So quite often in real life, a lot of information from the businesses, they are not structured. For example, the journal entries, debit, credit, the bank reconciliations, the draft of the annual report, they are not structured data. What we should do for most is to convert them into a structured data frame. Now, it may appear like a Excel sheets, but these are the data frame, means each column represent a variable. Each row represent an observations, and they should be unique. So there shouldn't be any duplicates. And we call these as a structured data. So if we can convert our unstructured data into this shape, right, then we can make a lot of analysis based on this data frame. So what I demonstrate here is a relatively clean data frame. All I did is to add some variables, such as there's a missing values or there's a currency variables, and there's an indication of whether this figure has been restated or not. So it may require a lot of initial work to do the data cleaning, and this can be also done within RStudio or R programs if you're familiar with that. But if you use Excel to do those structural data cleaning, then it can cause a lot of human errors, because over here you don't necessarily need to change the original data file. Everything will be work and manipulate within this environment. And this also very powerful to create some interactive plots or charts. And that could be very useful for, in the business settings. So to summarize your questions and to answer this question in short is, we need to make sure the data fed into the program are structured, and we need to make sure to do some duplication checks, so remove any duplications, and we need to know how to deal with the missing values, because the missing value may compromise your ratio analysis or in other tasks. Okay. Did I answer your question? Yeah.
Yes, but I'm curious about the can RStudio can generate recommendation from those data. Maybe example, with those data can make a sum chart or graphic. So from the based on graphic or chart, it can generate some recommendation based on the analysis.
Yeah. Now, if you have the sample code, once you finish all the sample code in the folder, you also find this called financial analysis report, and this is automatically created. If you click this one, and let me just see. Okay, let me quickly show you. If you open this, you can see it automatically created different tabs, summarized informations. And for the part you probably interested is the insight, or what is the smart way of automating the results. You can see it automatically tells or summarizes the highlights. For example, this company's revenue is 12.5% with marginal discipline, and this has been restated, and the sentiment of the content is this much. And also we have these summary figures, and these are all due to the initial code I put here when to generate the summary report. You can see here to compose a narrative. So this company revenue and we'll put a value here. Now I can change this value change it into other company. So it will always provide the real-time output. So every time I run a code, this figure will be changed. Now I have to say this is still not the AI embedded processing, because it still requires us to change the code and to type some of the codes. But when it comes to fully unsupervised AI modelings, then we do in different way. And the most common way is to send AI model with the prompts. And we call these processes prompt engineering. And I will show you in a minute. Before I move on to the next demonstrations, do you guys have any other questions? So that because next I will use the Python and use the DeepSeek API to show you how to quickly and efficiently run the analysis on the company's annual report. Or I just continue?
Okay, I think it's enough for me. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Or anyone, before we continue, is there any other question from the audience? Perhaps someone would like to ask from a different angle or share a brief thought about this matter? Maybe before we continue, can I ask one question?
Yeah.
So we just learned how to generate data or data transformation, using RStudio. And it's very new to us. I mean, as an accountant, maybe we usually use the traditional way, and I think we rarely use RStudio to extract and transform our data, and it makes us wonder if AI depends on heavily on how we generate our data, especially in RStudio. In your view, as an accountant, how much do we have to learn RStudio, or how what extent we have to master the prompt or the generative AI, as you mentioned before?
Now, if you are not tech savvy, or if you're not really coding person, I would say we can put more emphasis on learn how to do the prompt, how to write the prompts, because R is our language, or even Python, it's a still heavy coding relevant language. So you need to familiar yourself on how to do coding, how to change the codes, and how to write the algorithms. Now, the good news is the AI can help you to write the code. All you need to do is to send a clear instructions to AI. And then you need to still have those scripts or codes ready. Either it will be R codes or Python codes, and you still need to execute the code. The only difference is you ask AI to write code for you, and you will test the codes, and then you ask AI again to modify or fix the codes. But the whole process of communication is through the prompts. Now, another thing also very important is you need to let AI know what's your expected output. So what you want the Python or R to generate. Now, in the example I just showed a moment ago, it just generate the image, the plots, or the Excel sheets. It doesn't generate any other things or report. So you can ask AI to enable such functions, and I will show you in a minute. So here I'm using a new interface or new platform. It's called Trail. Some of you may use some other alternatives called Visual Studio Code, but I'm more interested in this one because it has a lot of AI powers. I have written, actually with the help of AI on here, I have written a Python code, and you can see here the Python code is barely 300 lines, and it gives, if you're not familiar with the code, you may find quite intimidating because well, it's hard to know what this line of code means and how to fix them. But in the future, all we need to know is we need to write the prompts, which I think I mentioned here. Sorry, let me just quickly find a prompt here. So this is instruction I have written and I feed into my AI because I want my AI to read the instructions, understand what is my expectations, and then I want my AI to read my target file and to generate something. So this is the prompt, very detailed, very informative to AI, and then AI will, based on this prompt structure, to give me some output. So I will quickly demonstrate you. Again, if you have DeepSeek API, you unzip this package. Over here, you just put your API keys, and you also need to put your folder address, so where you want to save your output. Over here, I've already set up my API, so you just simply need to run this code. So let me just show you quickly. I click run Python code. So these codes are being modified and handwritten, and they use AI to help modify this. Once you click this, I set up a interactive what is called conversations. It will ask me which type of analysis I want to apply. Now, remember, in the sample folder, I have two types of report. We have annual report. So this is the real annual report of the listed company, and I convert this annual report from PDF into a pure text, and you can see they are not readable, right? There are some sentences, these are tables, but if you're not familiar with the structure, it is almost useless for us. And for the business background, these are the 10K reports from a US listed companies. They are structural and they're readable, but they are quite lengthy. And if we're busy, we may not be able to read all of them. So what I want to do is, first of all, I want to quickly analyze the annual report. So can you guys see my share screen of the tray of this platform?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if I select one, and then the second question asks me to indicate if I just want to analyze single file or multiple files. I'll just write single file. I just simply drag and drop here and enter. And it will invoke my DeepSeek or AI agent, and you can see the real-time output. So it starts to reading these documents, okay? And then it will run the analysis based on the prompts, based on the instructions I sent to my AI model. And once it processes it, it will type and show it in the real time. So give a 5 or 6 seconds, it will show us the real-time output. So it's analyzing at the moment, but once it's finished the reading, can see. So this is real-time output, very similar as we do on the website interface, either you're within GPT or DeepSeek. But what makes different is the whole output is explicitly based on my instruction, and my instructions here, which is I want to provide the financial data extractions, key changes analysis, and I want to provide the implication to stakeholders. If you are the potential investors, if you're the existing shareholders, what are those stakeholders? So now it finished. So let's check the output, what it looks like. So the output, and the company name is ARK. And yeah, so this is the one we just finished. And you can see out of here, so this is the initial unstructured textual data. This is annual report, okay? And it converted into such an insightful and structural report? It starts with the financial performance summary. Well, some of them may not be precise, but almost good. For example, in 2024, the revenue is this compared with last year as a 15% decline. If you're not sure, you can simply copy these words and then cross-reference check to see. Now it appears here. So you can see revenue from ordinary activities down 15.8% to this much in 2024, which verify that this information is accurate. It also gives you the page reference and also provides some indications or implications if from a financial performance perspective, if you are the investors, this AI model gives you some indications such as pointing out their growth challenge, what is the strategic positions, and if you are the current shareholders, you should also notice that there's no dividend paid. Okay, so if you're not sure, we can also copy dividends and see if there's any part mentioning of a dividend. Okay, so dividends have been mentioned 9 times. So you can see here, there's no dividend paid. Now, without reading this report, you can hardly find these important information. So this is AI agent based on my instructions can structure can structure report and can provide a very meaningful output. So if you are the manager of the company, you need to pay attention about the cost control, the sales structures, and market challenges, which are also based on the annual report. Okay, so this is one thing. Now let's do another test. If it is just business background, let's do another round of analysis. So I choose number 2, business background analysis. Now I will just drag one of these very long text and to see what the AI agent can produce us. Now, for the record, I have done this already in the past, but you can see it will be more like providing a historical timeline. So when the company started and when was the expansion time, what are the strategic acquisitions, strategic moves, and what is current business structures, and what are the strategic positions. All of these are based on my prompt, which I have emphasized. So for the business background, I need to see the timeline, I need to see the business evolutions, I need to see structure, and you can see the real-time output here. Now, each time you run AI model, it may not give you the identical output, but that's fine, as long as the information is accurate. Okay. So now if you compare this with these unstructured text, and if even you print it out, it may take you a few hours to read these texts, but instead you can maybe spend 10 minutes to understand the key background of the business. And this is the power of AI. And you can do this with your fingertips, and this is how we can make things more efficient. Okay, let me quickly go back to the slides again. Oh, sorry. Now, to refresh what we have learned, when using R, we have done some racial analysis that includes these charts and the trends analysis. And we also can do some basic text analysis, such as the topic modelings, the word clouds, the sentiment analysis. But the real power comes to using the AI model or AI agent. But what we need to do is to write a proper prompt, proper instructions to inform the AI. And then the AI will give us a very, very insightful and helpful report that can save us the time and and then you can make more meaningful and insightful decisions. And the biggest takeaway for us today, on top of seeing how the AI can work with large text, I think to most of us, we need to start from now to understand how to deal with different types of data. And we need to know what is the data frame means. If we just simply, we can look at data frame as a smart spreadsheet. It contains the basic information. It can also contain different elements as you wish. You can add all those elements. And then you need to do proper cleaning, because a good data will lead to good decisions. A massive unstructured data will make the output and decision less reliable. But when it comes to AI involvement, it can help us to fix the errors, identify the abnormalities, and we can do a lot of checking very quickly just by changing a line of code. Now, when it comes to the generative AI that can create the content, not just the text, can also create the image, we can use this to do much more meaningful or more creative things. And we can let AI to read reports, so you don't necessarily have to. Okay? Just as what we demonstrated for 30 pages long of business background descriptions, we can use AI to summarize into a single page, and still we maintain the high level of accuracy. So lastly, we summarize that using the generative AI, if using properly or if you design properly, it can save you a lot of reading times. And believe me, we may be expert in readings, particularly now where we are flooded with these informations on the internet or on the mobile phones, but lots of informations that towards us are not structural information. They're not clean information. So perhaps we can use our AI to filter out some of the unnecessary information. It can help us to structure the information to generate a single page powerful summary to us, so that we can make a more meaningful and useful decisions in the future. Okay, I think I will end my presentation here. Apologize, I cannot go through all these codes, but I have shared all the codes to you. If you want to play around, feel free.
Oh iya mau, iya boleh. Udah.
Okay.
Berapa?
Any other questions?
Okay, it looks like we have a new question from Monep Ibrahim Amen Mohammed, and he asks, what is the main hypothesis presented by the model regarding the likelihood of political lobbying in the UE versus the UN?
Lupa. Iya.
Okay, let me just mute it. Okay, yeah. Okay, so May, is it relevant to assuming this is a different question, right? So likelihood of political lobbying in the EU versus US. Well, assuming these students try to write a thesis and try to form or write up some hypothesis. Well, first I need to look at the data. So I want to see what are the key variables you may have. For example, if you have the US economic data about the employment rates, the industrial growth rates, the job creation rates, and we also need to know what are the data available or relevant to the politicians. Otherwise, without the data, as we mentioned, if you don't have a clean data, you cannot make a clean assumptions or clean judgments. And also need to know what's the level of measurements of your data. So I may not able to answer these questions because it may not be too direct to what I can answer.
All right. Is there any question would like to ask to Dr. Yuqian Zhang? Anyone? You can ask directly or you can type it in the chat box.
Okay. Just last takeaway is I think Diana has a question.
Okay, please, Diana, you can ask your question.
Thank you so much. Maybe I have a question again. So I think so. This discussion is so insightful, but I'm wondering about the benefit of AI and improving efficiency, real-time processing, and effectiveness in accounting tasks. At the first glance, it seems like AI could potentially take over many accounting functions, such as for accounting. And also, I want to ask about the connection between AI accuracy and auditing. Maybe can AI enhance the audit process? And is there any possibility that it could replace some of the rules of traditionally performed by auditors? Thank you.
Okay. Good questions. Now, first, let me ask you, what do you think about the nature of each type of technology development? Well, if you're looking at the general technology development, its outcome is always, well, we say improve the efficiency, but it always replace the human labor. Now, from the traditional steam engine, once we create a steam engine, we don't need to use the horsepower. Right? So these are the nature or inherent nature of technology development. Now, when it comes to AI, we have been talk about AI for quite a few years, and accountants particularly are under the survival line, fearing that this can be replaced. It will be replaced if we stop into the traditional way of doing accounting. If we still relies on our manual input, then this eventually will be replaced by AI because they're not efficient. But if we think strategically, since this repetitive work can be replaced by AI, maybe our job as accountant is to design how to assign this task to AI. Maybe in the future, our job is to write the prompt or to design a prompt that can train the AI to understand accounting information more accurately, because at this stage it is not perfect. Now, secondly, relates to the auditing work, very similar to accounting, because auditing is also very labor intensive, manual. There are still some elements cannot be replaced by AI, such as we still need some hard evidence, paperwork, but over time, a lot of things will be replaced digitally. Now, we talk about the blockchain in the past, that this can be used for information recordings. Then if we still stick into the traditional way and without embracing this new technology, then you will be replaced. But instead, if you start to understand the nature of blockchains and knowing how to validate the blockchain, how to test the blockchain, then you will be on top of these AI models. Because we are still the human working the role as supervising the AI or training the AI. But I think in the long term, in the long horizon, we need to live with the AI. Means we see AI as our assistants, or we treat the AI as a encyclopedia or as a personal assistant sitting next to you. Now, if you try to create the competition with AI, well, we are not in the same battlefield, because AI has different capacities compared with human. But if we can, if we can complement each other, humans' advantage is being creative and being insightful, and AI's advantage is being knowledgeable and being helpful and can work all the time, then this will be the more healthy and long-lasting relationships for us in the future, especially for accountant. In the future, you can work with clients from all over the world without any language barrier. Now, this is with the power of AI. And in the future, you can automate a lot of the accounting transactions by simply design the algorithms step by steps and let your AI to execute it. But if you have new clients which requires different steps or different process, then you simply modify the algorithm a little bit and let AI to do again. So without human intervention, AI may not capture those things. And I think that will be the potential opportunity for us as accountant in the future. So we will be probably you guys will be a new generation of accountant that has to lead with AI and lead with more learning more skills on how to communicate with AI at the same way as you communicate with your clients. So the communication skills, that will be a different, there'll be another layers of a skill sets.
I think it's from I can conclude from your explanation because it is like more about shifting rules, like right? Because in the past we just focus on heavily traditional or manual journaling, but with AI we can embed it like a role may shift, like a deeper analysis, or maybe making some comprehensive decision, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also think about how much information we're receiving or we're exposing every day. Unlike 10 or 20 years ago, in the past, our information was quite filtered and quite selective. Most investors read information through the newspaper and they can focus, right? Because they are very target oriented. But nowadays it's almost impossible because we always get distracted with varieties of information. And now the information becomes so cheap, means almost free, and we cannot easily identify the accuracy of it. Now, this can be, again, we can use AI to help filtering out any unnecessary or unverified information. And that could be another thing. So a lot of things, a lot of skills we need to develop. We can see there's a more exciting future. And I hope in the future, if I have any other research or any other interesting topic I can share or I can demonstrate to you guys. But I have leave my contact details as well. If you have any particular questions, feel free to forward me an email.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, is there anyone who would like to ask another question?
So all the students are undergraduate students, or we also have some master or PhD students here?
Oh, it's a mix. Yeah.
Mix. Okay.
Yeah. So in here we have undergraduate and also master, or even we have lecturers in here.
Right.
Yeah. Various people.
Right.
Okay. So maybe I want to ask the last question. Yeah, may I? So earlier you've explained how AI can now help create financial reports and also analyze annual reports, right? But in the other hand, it requires us or we as a users to upload documents or data, you know. So in real life, I mean, companies, how can people make sure they are not accidentally sharing sensitive financial information with the third-party AI platforms? I mean, what basic precautions should the organization and individuals should take? And how can organization keep sensitive or confidential information safe when using AI tools, especially those that run partly on external servers?
Right. Well, that's a very good question. The privacy has been heavily on debate about AI usage. You know, we know the GPT has been trained with all those publicly available information. Sometimes some of them are violating the privacy and copyrights. I think in the business settings, you will only use AI to, let's say, to make your investment decisions by feeding the AI model with available and quality data. Well, you cannot rely on the AI to generate the suggestions without any real information feeding. Now, this goes back to our initial process of using some tools or R's to clean the data. Once you have done the cleaning, and once you understand the source, the reliable of the source, then you can feed those data into the AI, and AI can help you to to summarize, or generate, or analyze. But when it comes to the business, how the business can protect themselves without exposing to those privacies. Now, this is a matter of cybersecurities. Again, this will be another common popular issues in the future. If the business in the future are more open source or open access, that will be a scenario. If each businesses, they have a closed environment, they only will share information when they're required to, then it is us to find ways to get those informations from a reliable source. But there's always loopholes. People can hack the informations or can steal the informations. So as long as we're using the internet, we always need to battle with these issues. But perhaps there will be a more centralized what's called AI agent or AI models that we can use, we can rely on. For example, if the USA, the SEC, they can centralize the AI models and feed the AI with all those 10K reports, then we know this is a reliable source to use, and we know that the company has the responsibility to feed the information to them.
All right, it seems like we have another, maybe the last question, yeah.
Sure.
From Ledia Kurniasari, do you have any tips for beginners who want to learn how to write effective AI prompts and understand what they should focus on to create clear and accurate instructions?
Okay, very quickly, I will again, I go back to this tray. Now, the reason I use this is because it is relatively affordable. It has, I'm the pro, I make the subscriptions. On here, you can see this is AI conversations. Now, I can build things, I can chat with things. For example, I say, please write a effective prompt to help me to feed my AI agent to understand the financial report. Sorry. And then you emphasize, I need 100% accuracy. And you can write as simple as that, and you can see the output. It gives you initial prompt. So it is a start to reading it, and you can see this is a prompt. And based on this, you can modify, you can change. If you want to add any informations. So put in simple terms, prompt writing or prompt engineering, initially we start with our human rough draft writings, and then eventually we need to change into we use AI to polish the prompt with AI, because AI knows the prompts better. So if you want, you can write a draft paragraph with your instructions and let AI to redraft or polish into a more structured prompt. This will be more effective way. So play around these. You can simply use GPT or DeepSeek because they're all free on the web versions, and just simply make assumption that you want to do something, such as you want to write a 2,000 words essay, but you don't know how to structure, how to write outline, and you want to create a prompt that you can use repetitively, and this prompt can be used, can be polished over time. So use AI to polish the prompt. I think it's more effective. Okay, another question. So what a researcher do if he wants to conduct research on AI connection with financial reports using the experimental method tips and give? So AI connection with financial reports. Now, if it's experimental research, then you need to have control and a experimental group. Well, I think you can design a task that such as one group using AI, the other group without AI help, and then to generate reports, either one manually, the other one using the human writings, and then you have a third party, or it's independent what they call independent assessors to evaluate the output. I think that could be one way of design. But it really depends on what is your typical research questions. It is used in the industry or used by students, and what is the definition of AI connections? It's about exposure, the usage, or it's about awareness. So you have to define your research questions more specifically.
All right. I think our time is up. Yeah, it's already 7 p.m. and I believe in your place it's already midnight. So yeah. Okay. So all right, as we come to the end of today's session, I hope your question have been answered clearly and truly. As we conclude today's session, here are some takeaways from Dr. Yuqian lectures. So today we have learned how generative AI is changing the way the accounting works. And first, Dr. Yuqian has already defined that think of AI as a powerful assistant that's always awake, always ready, and never complains. And we also learned how generative AI is reshaping accounting, which automating data extraction, reconciliation, making ratio analysis, and even financial narratives. Dr. Zhang also described AI as powerful assistant that help us save time and reduce errors. And his demo in our studio showed us how coding can clean data, merge file, detect missing values, and calculate ratio in seconds. He highlighted the correlation. Accountant must understand data. We need to know what a data frame is, how to clean it, and how to turn messy information into clear insight. And above all, Dr. Zhang reminded us that even with AI, human judgment, ethics, and critical thinking remain essentials. So, Dr. Zhang, on behalf of the Accounting Department, Universitas Airlangga, we sincerely thank you for your time, your expertise, and valuable insight you shared with us today. And it's hard to believe that we've already reached the end of today's event. As we close, we would like to express our sincere gratitude to all of you who stayed with us from the beginning to the until very end. Your time, your attention, and participation truly mean a lot to us. On behalf of the organizing committee, we also apologize for any shortcomings or misunderstanding that may have occurred during the program, and we genuinely appreciate your patience and understanding. Before we say goodbye, we would like to remind to all students in the Accounting Data Analytic course to submit your guest lecture resume. The submission deadline will close 1 hour after this event finishes. So please make sure to upload your work promptly on Hebat. Okay? Thank you once again, and we look forward to seeing you at the next guest lecture series. Goodbye and good evening.
Thank you, Vidya, and thank you, everyone. Thanks for having me, and you too have a good evening.
All right. Thank
See ya.
you. See you.
See ya. Bye.